Hey everybody, welcome to the Pallet Shed. So I was just looking at reverb for a few minutes a little while ago on the computer, and it made me think about something about musicians and buying used gear, and something we know more about than anybody else. Well, let's go on in here to the Pallet Shed and we'll talk, and I'll do a jam with some of my used gear. Alright, here we go. Coming into the shed. 90% of this stuff is used here. Let me get situated. I don't know if this thing's recording. Alright. So first off, thank you so much for our new subscribers. We picked up 3 subscribers, and I mean, it means the world to us, believe me. And I told the cat squirrel, because he had been feeling pretty down on this subject, and he was pepping right back up. Looked like he was feeling better from eating the rabbit. I did give him a worming pill, so that might have something to do with it, but I really think it's the subscribers. So right now, Tamaran's not feeling too good. That's the high-strung kind of anxious cat. So, you know, a few more subscribers, I bet she'd be feeling pretty good too. I appreciate everybody though. But, so I was looking at reverb.com. You know, I have a great time just surfing Reverb or Facebook Marketplace looking at gear, because as a musician, I have something many musicians suffer from. Some people call it GAS, standing for Gear Acquisition Syndrome. It's the constant buying and selling of gear. And some people think it's a good thing, some people think it's a bad thing. Well, nobody says it's a good thing if you're spending money you can't spend, but as I see it, it's no different than somebody who collects shoes or this or cars if they've got the money. You know, I collect guitar pedals, and I have a few guitar tube amps because that's what I like. You know, I don't buy everything guitar, but I like tube amps and I like analog pedals, and I like guitars, but I only have a few. But anyway, to cut to the chase of the story, so if somebody is coming to me now and saying, you know, Matt, I'm looking to want to buy a guitar, you know, maybe play. Well, first I would say, you kind of, what do you want to play? If you want to play like rock music, you know, it's going to point you in a specific direction. You want to play an acoustic guitar, an electric guitar, this or that. So I'm more electric guitars. I know a little about acoustics, but you know, it's just not my thing. But for anybody buying an instrument, you know, obviously be cautious about your buys, but I would definitely advise you to look at the used market, because I swear the used market for gear from musicians is got such a high rate of perfectly good gear, because musicians are constantly selling good gear to buy other gear, chasing the sound in their head of the perfect sound. And it's fun. I mean, this room would be stacked where you couldn't even get in it with all the amps and pedals I've owned in 40 years or so of playing. So my point is, if I were to buy, well, I do now, any piece of gear, I would do that. And then when you're coming back to the guitar, I wouldn't spend more than $500 on an electric guitar unless it just really spoke to me. And that's, I worked at Gibson Guitar USA for 13 years. Well, really, I'll bring it back to, you don't need to spend a lot to get, you know, quality. And it's like any, even car market's the same. Once you get to a certain amount, 500 is my thought. Somebody else would say 1,000. But the 500 on my side would be, you know, obviously I'm playing an Epiphone Les Paul. That's what I like. You can get one of these for $350. A Strat, you can get a Squire Strat or Strat copy for, you know, $400. If you're getting into the American made, you're getting to $600 or $700, at least in this area of Middle Tennessee. But my point is, I just wouldn't buy new, because the guitars don't wear out. Well, eventually they do, but I'm still playing the same guitar I've had since 1988. The frets are worn down to the fretboard, but I still play it. But for the most part, they're not going to wear out like a vehicle. Guitar amps, tube amps are always going to be worth money and hold their value. Solid state and modeling, all that stuff's kind of getting to be like regular electronics, where it's sort of throwaway after a while. You know, at certain amounts. Obviously, the high end lasts longer. So now I'm talking in circles. So my point, keep reeling it back in, Matt. Bring it specific. If I were buying a guitar for myself right now, and I'd never played before, I'd identify what niche I'm in. If I'm in just rock and roll, Southern rock, Les Paul, look at what instruments your favorite guitarists play, and that kind of tell you what it is. So if it's Led Zeppelin, you're going to be looking at Les Paul. You don't have to buy Gibson. There's lots of off-brands. Epiphone's the official off-brand or lower tier of Gibson. I've worked at Gibson, and I've owned 2 Epiphones. They gave me a guitar of the month while I was working there, and I sold it and bought an Epiphone and paid some bills or something. And there's nothing wrong with wanting a Gibson. I mean, it's a good guitar. It's just, I've always been not so much paying for a name. And there's nothing wrong with paying for a Gibson for the name, because you will be able to resell it at value for a while. And if you keep it long enough, then you'll be able to sell it for more than you paid for it, which is not the case for Epiphone. So find your niche, see what you want. The guitar's got to speak to you. I mean, it's got to inspire you. If you're going cheap and going off the used market, think about having it professionally set up, because it makes a big difference. I mean, it's night and day. A set up crap guitar will play better than the most expensive guitar that's not set up. It's just, it really does mean that much. And shoot, I was on a roll there. Get it fixed up. Okay, on the used market, you got Facebook Marketplace, which I don't care about meeting people person to person, but some people don't necessarily want to take that risk, where you've got reverb.com, which is probably your biggest online used market, and you get a good price. Marketplace, you can usually get them a little lower, or you'll find your occasional deal. And if you don't know the instruments and stuff, it's made it so easy. If you just see something listed, go to Google, say what it is, click the AI part, whatever button. Now that you've got search, like images, news, you have AI now. Hit that, it'll tell you what it is. It'll tell you if it's a good used price. It'll tell you why they're sought after on the used market, or why people stay away from them. It's got you covered. So that would be, yeah, that makes me want to go out and buy something right now. Shit. Anyway, I was going to keep this one short. Stay tuned next time. But I was playing my new toy. That's what these are. All these pedals, I swear, it's like toys. I love playing with them and constantly tinkering. But right there, I got my brand new analog reverb pedal. It's pretty tall. It's actually really got springs in there. I really want to take it apart, kind of to look. But it sounds beautiful. I'll Sorry, you're looking at my head. I'll demo it for you next time. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the jam. it's not going to have a backing track. Well, I got to look into it. I just threw the jam together early this morning. I went through a couple times. So it's got bass. It does have one rhythm track of guitar, then one lead where I was improvising. I think I went through it twice for just doing the improv, but since I'd played the rhythm track, I had it pretty good in my head. Okay, I'll let you guys go, but I'll try and throw this together and maybe start doing some more things about stuff I've done, budget friendly stuff. And I never went to school for guitar. Well, school, I mean, not everybody does, but being self-taught in the 80s was hard, and I'm sure it's harder in the 70s. Especially not having a musical family, but I did have some friends. That's sort of the way we learned. But anyway, being self-taught, I was thinking, I've got some stuff to bring to the table as far as maybe helping some people out learn. Like, I was thinking about maybe doing something where if you just want to play rock guitar, of just the fastest way just to play rock guitar with not learning as little theory, just enough that you need to know, just enough chords that you can have fun. Because it's a daunting task if you're going to get into playing later in life. And I swear I could show you enough to play rock guitar in a few weeks, where you could jam along with your favorite songs, if that's what you want to do, because that's fun as hell, I'll tell you. But anyway, I will quit yammering on, and I will see you guys soon, and I hope you have a great day. All right, thank you.